All right, let's get into it.
It's Friday.
It is. Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of the Warfighter Tobacco Podcast. I'm John, that's Scott. We got Justin over there. Today we have a
Big grizzly looking motherfucker.
yeah, I think our largest guest to date.
We had Obi. Yeah. Oh, not on this.
Not on this one.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. You're our largest.
Oh, heck yeah. That's a good time.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we got Caleb Francis with us. And Caleb's a fucking cigar smoker.
Yeah.
Like, he smokes a lot of cigars.
Yeah.
Like more than a lot of people that say they're in the cigar industry.
Yeah, dude, I love a good cigar, man. I've been slowly building out like my back porch specifically because I love to smoke cigars.
Right.
And that's been like, man, I need to make sure my back porch is just like chill, set. I've got like been putting up my new blinds, kind of cut back on wind.
Like normal people set up an outdoor area with the fans pointed in. You have to have your fans pointed out.
Dude, yeah. No fans allowed. Yeah. No fans allowed. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude. It's been just getting my porch all set up, got my hot tub and everything set up there with a little table and an ashtray next to it. I've got ashtrays next to every seat. I love it, man.
I have like 4 or 5 ashtrays in my backyard.
Yeah. That's my porch. That's the same way, dude. I love it. Yeah. So yeah, man, been getting real into cigars the last few years.
Nice.
Yeah.
So when was your first cigar?
First cigar. I mean, we talking like real cigar?
So like my first cigar.
You give us both.
Yeah. My first cigar is 14.
Yep.
And I like scrounged up quarters and dollars to get my buddy's brother to buy it. I had no idea. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But like that was my first.
Yeah, we used to smoke, like we would get those little like flavored cigars, like when we would go fishing.
Mm-hmm.
And like that was when my parents would let me puff on those when we were fishing because it kept the bugs and stuff away.
Right.
So yeah, man, I was probably like 9 or 10 then when they first started letting me do that. And it was like grape flavored or like cherry or something like that. And, you know, it was nice. I had like the little wood tip on the end of it.
Right.
It was fun. That was like my first time ever actually like smoking at all.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, dude, I mean, I always like really liked it. I liked the smell, like not even just the flavored, like it just the tobacco smell was always really liked that. My first real cigar, probably 16, something like that, somewhere around there. Me and my buddies, like when we go camping and stuff, we
nice.
one of our buddies was a little older and he was able to buy like cigars and stuff for us. So we'd all pitch in and get a big pack of the cigars. Like it was like from Rite Aid. I don't even remember the brand, but
probably like Backwoods or something.
Probably, yeah. It was just like a fat cigar and it came in a pack of 4.
Okay.
And we'd get like 2 packs of those and we'd smoke on them over the next 2 days while we were camping and stuff. I mean, that was always so fun, dude. Sitting by the fire and just puffing cigars while we.
That's still my favorite time to smoke a cigar is around the fire.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's great. Yeah, man. I've always loved them, and then kind of just started to get really into them the last 4 or 5 years. Like, I like this brand. I know I like this brand. Oh, I like that size. Well, I like, and I'm not super versed in, where each one comes from or what the wrappings are, like just different type of tobaccos. But I just know I'm like, I like a darker cigar most of the time. Like I like some light ones, but darker cigars I think are my favorite. So yeah, man, it's just been it's so relaxing.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like we like to tell people that, there's a lot of doctors out there that say that cigars are actually healthy for you.
Yeah.
And some of these doctors are like heart surgeons and stuff.
Yeah.
And their reasoning behind it is there really isn't much else that you can do in the world where you're going to take 45 minutes to an hour of your time and just be with that cigar.
Right. Yeah.
And if somebody comes and like starts like, getting in on you about something, you're like, hey, let me finish my cigar and then I'm going to, you know what I mean? So
I think I've seen a similar thing because it's like the smoke is the damage of the smoke is outweighed by what it does for you, like your heart health, by just like taking that time to just relax.
Yeah, like just de-stressing.
And do nothing. So
that you're not inhaling. And it's all like what's in a cigar? Well, it's all natural tobacco leaves.
Mm-hmm.
Like
at least ours.
Yeah.
I can't speak for everybody else.
Sure. But yeah, man, like there's like what you're not getting hardly anything bad out of it. Yeah. So it's killer.
And some people just assume nicotine is bad for you, but it's really not. Like,
dude,
nicotine's
it's
awesome.
Dude,
it's like caffeine.
Listen, as I was never a nicotine pouch guy, never at all, until about a year ago. Some company like gave us some, and they're called the Lucy's, and we tried those, and I was like, oh, was like, okay,
I
was
like
I
this.
like this. And I started like looking more into it, dude. Like I almost like don't even give a shit about energy drinks anymore, man.
Yeah.
I'm like, and that's my thing.
Because I think nicotine makes you focus.
It
more,
does. It
too.
does. It's got so much cognitive things that it does for you, and like you feel it too,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
You feel it. Like you pop it in, like unless you're getting like dizzy off of it or some shit. Like I'm like, oh, like I'm like more quick witted and like alert. So now, dude, I've gotten in the habit of if eventually if I were in because I want to like once I get my new place, I want to have a nice cigar room. So when I'm streaming games and stuff, I'll pop some kind of nicotine pouch in before I start.
Oh yeah,
Dude, no, I noticed such a difference in my like reactiveness and how I play and like even just talking to chat, like being able to banter back and forth a little faster, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
it's so much better than caffeine.
Yeah.
They say there's so many good things that nicotine does for
Yeah.
your like testosterone in
Everything.
dudes, and your cognitive abilities. Like it's crazy.
The only downfall I think to it is it does have an aspect of an addictive property too.
Yep, exactly.
But so does caffeine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So does anything that ends
Pretty
with
much
E.
anything. Yeah.
Anything enjoyable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can get addicted to.
Yeah.
It. Yeah.
When we started Warfighter, but 8 years ago now, everything was we were trying to capture all of our data, all of our analytics, and putting it in a way that we can understand. We can put a metric to what that analytic is and be like, hey, if we do this, this changes.
Yeah.
And so I went way down rabbit holes on like building out spreadsheets and just data entry and doing all this shit. And what I found that worked the best, and we're not sponsored by anybody in general, so I'm not pimping anybody because we're getting paid for it. But I would take the On It Alpha Brain.
Yeah.
I'd pop 2 of those. I'd have 4 shots of espresso and some kind of nicotine, whether it's a pouch or at the time I chewed. So I'd put a fat lip in.
Yeah.
And then I could like see formulas in the spreadsheets. And I'm like, oh, this is so easy. But if I tried to do it without nicotine or, energy or caffeine or Alpha Brain, I'd look at just stare at it. And all I see is blocks. I'm like, this is stupid.
It is kind of insane that it does do so. Like, because I'll usually have an energy drink and a pouch in it. Anytime I stream now, I've been like just testing it like I just took one out because we're smoking a cigar, but like when I do a podcast, I do a podcast or something, I usually pop one in. Something where I got to be like on it, and, really like popping. Nicotine has been like my go-to thing the last 5 or 6 months, man.
So, but yeah, probably about 6 months ago, my buddy Mikey actually got me with a pouch. Yeah. And there were 3 milligram Zins at the time.
Yeah.
And I tried one and I'm like, well, it's not that bad,
Yeah.
And then I ended up getting a can or a tin, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. It's the pouch. And so then my girl was like, if you don't get 6 mils, I'm going to start pegging you. And so that next day, I got home, I took it out of my pocket. It was a 6 mil can.
I put 2 in. I put 2 in.
So now this is what you need to do, because the Lucy's, those were the first ones that I had ever tried, and they're 8 mil starting out.
Okay.
And they have a one called a Lucy Breaker.
Yeah.
And it's got like a little like flavor crystal inside of it. You pop it when you
it's
pop
like a
it
Camel
in.
Crush.
Dude, yeah. And it's got like, it tastes so, it's like a mint almost.
No
like,
shit.
depending on what flavor you get. So like there's a mint flavor, and then there's like an apple cider one. It's just like cinnamon. So it's like you just have a mint. So you got nice breath, and then 8 milligrams of that shit. Like there's sometimes, dude, if I've not ate like pretty close to, there's sometimes I'm like, oh shit.
I was going to bring this up. If you ever get sick on nicotine, do you know why?
No. Yeah.
So it's tricking your body into thinking you're having a blood sugar problem.
Oh,
But you're not.
It's a big nicotine buzz.
So all you have to do to fix yourself is eat a little sugar. Get some sugar in your system and you're fine. 4 minutes and you're fine.
Okay. That makes sense, because one of my favorite energy drinks has a fair amount of sugar in it. So I've noticed if I pop one of those and I'm drinking that energy drink, I don't get sick.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Or
Now I
if
know.
you eat before
A little sugar. Yeah. If I eat before I pop one, I'm good.
Yeah.
But if I'm like on an empty stomach and I pop one, dude, it's like
But that's the same with some.
2 minutes in, I'm like,
It's the same with some really bold cigars.
Oh, sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
And but the cigar, you don't realize it till like 2 inches in,
That's
and then it's past the point of no return.
You're
You're
like,
like fucking eat
Yeah.
shit.
That's why, like,
Sugar.
if you go to a cigar lounge, for the most part, all of them have like a little candy dish or something.
Oh, makes sense. Okay.
Yep.
Cool. That's some fun knowledge.
It is fun knowledge,
have
and
to-
it's knowledge that like
Makes
I try to make common.
Yeah.
I try to share
I share it every time I
every
can
time.
with people.
Yeah, I'll have
Because
to tell
it-
my
it-
friends that.
Yeah, it makes
Yeah.
life
Well,
so much
riding
better.
that struggle bus or that nicotine bus sucked.
Dude,
Yeah.
yeah, because
And-
it
and,
Like
lasts
it's
sometimes.
cool at
Yeah,
first
yeah.
when you're like, "Ooh, I'm a little lightheaded,"
Ooh, I'm getting
and then all of a
buzz.
sudden you're like, "Oh,
I
my
don't-
stomach doesn't feel good." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm
And then-
really
and-
dizzy."
and the last thing you want to do then is eat anything.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's the fix.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Or drink a
that's-
Coke
That's
or
fun
whatever.
to know.
Yeah.
I'll start carrying a little handful of candies with me, just for that. Well, smart.
Yep. So, where are you from?
I'm from West Virginia. Live down here now in Texas. I've been in here for about 4.5 years. But yeah, pretty much my entire life back in West Virginia, Southern West Virginia. Lived in Australia for a few years when I was a little
cool.
kid. But yeah, other than
Nice.
that, West Virginia the whole time.
What'd your parents do that brought you to Australia?
My dad was a coal miner, and he was like pretty high up in the coal mines. So he was like a boss, and the company he worked for was opening up a bunch of mines in Australia, and they wanted like some of their higher up dudes to go there. For
Do
a
you
while.
remember it at all?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
dude,
cool.
that was like some of the best time of my life. I was 9 through like almost 11 while I
Perfect.
was there, dude. And I just did homeschooling while I was there, so it was like, and homeschooling during that time was like easy. It was like
Right.
it didn't even felt like I was doing anything.
Right.
It was like a VHS that I would watch, and I just had like a workbook, and I could knock those workbooks out. Like I finished. I remember I finished like a year's worth of work in like a week, and I was like, all right, well, okay, I'm gonna go have fun now. So, dude, my life in Australia for those 2 years was just me like having fun.
Yeah.
We lived right near the beach. Is like a block back from the beach, and huge bike path that went on for like 20 miles. It was
Awesome.
next to the beach, dude. So I was just riding my bike, skate park in town. A lot of cool kids.
So there's pretty good population.
Dude,
there.
oh yeah, it was
Yeah.
killer. It was like a pretty beach town.
Nice.
Yeah, a lot of fun, like mom and pop type shops and restaurants stuff. Dude, it was an amazing time. Like I'll go back to that same town at some point in my life and just kind of
Yeah.
visit, hang out for a few days because dude, it was so fun. You guys ever see the show Rocket Power at all? It may have been a little like it was like a big cartoon show during my time period. It's like what I was doing. I was like living Rocket Power. It's just about these kids that like live like in Hawaii or some shit, and all they did was skateboard and surf like all the time.
Nice.
And it's like it just felt like that's what I
Yeah.
was doing. It was so fun.
Did you get into diving while you're down there?
We went and visited a reef. I didn't get to dive.
Okay.
Like I had to do a lot of like swim classes and stuff. Like when they moved us over there, they're like, you got to do all these certain classes to just kind of prep you for living here now.
Right.
Because that beach, like there's like a lot of rip tides on a lot of the beaches and stuff. So they had to teach us like a lot of swimming techniques and stuff. Remember we had a woman that came like that first week we were there. And I'll never forget her because her hands were massive. like something was wrong. Like they were like 4 times the size of like my hand, like just giant, like looked like she had Hulk hands on.
Yeah.
And it was because some spider had bit her.
Oh,
and,
wow.
and it like done something to like the blood in her hands and like it messed her hands up like forever. Like she could barely move them. So she came and was like, hey, this is what's going to happen if you don't watch out for these bugs. So it was like huge video. She had to show us about all these bugs and lizards and like other shit to like watch out for. It was like, watch out for these spiders because they'll hide in your shoes. Watch out for this spider because it hides under the bottom seat of the toilet seat. So it was like just all this shit she had to warn us about. I was like, holy fuck. Like they were like, yeah, they're like, everything here will kill you. So just being like nervous as hell over that.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it was fun as hell. Dad was over there for the mines and we were there for about 2 years until the mine was up and going good.
Cool.
And came back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Scott and I actually, we did a platoon reunion years ago, and that's what brought us back together after him and I served together when we were active duty.
Okay.
And then we both got out and went our separate ways.
Yeah.
And then we did a platoon reunion. That's what kind of brought us back together and got me working at the gun store. And then eventually, I started
cool.
Warfighter.
Yeah.
But that reunion was, we floated the Gauley River in West Virginia.
Oh.
And so when you said you're from West Virginia, and I'm like, I had to look it up because I'm like, man, I'm pretty sure it was there.
That's cool because that was like one of them out there in the New River in the Gully.
Mhm.
So that's where we hung out most summers. Like that's where we hiked. That's where we camped because that was all the coolest places. Like
It was
to
so
see.
cool.
And it was just hour 20 minutes from my house. So
Nice.
we'd go spend a weekend there, like go camp and all the cool trails, all the waterfalls and stuff. It was gorgeous out
West Virginia was the first time I got drunk 3 times in one day.
Oh God.
Somebody brought a bunch of moonshine.
Yeah.
We literally, I was
Makes sense.
fucked up like 10 in the morning, passed
Falling
out,
down drunk.
and then up
Yeah.
by 2 or 3, did it again, and then up again in the night, did it again. So.
Damn. Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah.
It was a great time. But I don't know if I'd do it again.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Pretty much everybody there, someone in their family makes moonshine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So pretty common thing there.
Yeah.
That
So
was-
what brought you to Texas?
Black Rifle.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I've been doing the content and stuff for like years, and then some of the guys that work for Black Rifle saw it and like reached out. They're like, dude, like, we love your videos. You should come.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we'd love to have you come down and make some stuff with us. And I was like, oh, that'd be amazing. This was like prime COVID time. So we had to wait until that cleared up. Then I came down. It was just like a sign or something. It was like right after me and my girlfriend at the time, we broke up, and then just all these opportunities came about. And I flew to Utah for 3 or 4 days with the Diesel Brothers, and we filmed a bunch of stuff for them and a big truck giveaway. It was an amazing time. And then right after I got home, I came down to Texas, hung out with Jared, met all of them, Jared and Heather and Jack, and we filmed some ads, like just some goofy skits and stuff. And
Which are
was
great.
and it was so fun. And we're just kind of like hitting it off with everybody. And I was only supposed to be down here for 4 days. And then they were like, well, we've got this other event going on next week. You should just stay for that. Meet those guys that are coming to town and film with them too. And I was like, cool. I was like, I don't have nothing going on. I was like, single now. I'm like, I'm in my own place and stuff. So stayed another week, met those guys, filmed with them, had a blast. They're like, well, we've got this other thing going on in a few days. You should just stay for that too. I was like, okay. And that just kept happening. I ended up being down here for like 3 months.
So Jared kid.
yeah. That's literally what everybody said.
Did he tell your parents?
Yeah, that's like I remember my mom was like, "Are you coming back?" and I was
I'm
like,
trying,
I was
Mom, I'm
like,
trying.
eventually. But yeah, I was like, just so much cool stuff's going on down here. And whenever I was supposed to, like, been down there for months, and they're just like, dude, like, we just want to hire you full time, man. Like, this is fun. We're having a great time. Like, we'd love for you to work with us regularly. And I was like, cool. And he's like, dude, if you want to move down here, he's like, I'll hook you up with a place. He's like, you can just live here for a while until you figure out whatever you want to do. So I was like, shit. I went home, got everything situated there. Like, it took me about a month and a half to get all that done, and then packed all my stuff, drove down. Lived in that main house for about a year when I started looking for places. And then he's like, well, dude, I'm building buildings all over this property. He's like, I was going to build an apartment above the garage anyway. He's like, you're more than welcome to just take that apartment. I was like, well, shit. I was like, okay. I was like, I'll do that for now too. Yeah. I was like, and that way, while I'm doing that, I was like, I'll just save for land. Right. So, so that's like my thing now is I'm just saving up for land because I want to have a good piece of properties to start building out, a place of mine. Yeah. But yeah, dude, it's great. And it works out perfect because we're there on the property, and like pretty much the people that live there on that property are the Black Rifle content people. Right. So we can just work together. We film together there all the time. Like literally a couple of times a week we're filming stuff. Our meetings are there. Like we've always got something fun going on. It's a blessing. It's just so cool, man. It's awesome. A great group to be with, and we just always have a blast. So
I do love the fact that if you don't know anything about any of this, there's a road in Texas that you can drive down, and in the driveway to get to what he's talking about, there's a giant fuck off billboard. Yeah. With Jared's face on it.
It used to be our podcast, because that was never going to be there. And then because they were trying to sell that piece of land there that's like attached to the edge of Jared's property. Like nobody wants to buy it because it's like useless. You can't do nothing.
It's a rock, right?
Yeah. You literally could only put a billboard there.
Yeah.
So they end up not buying that one, and they bought it across the street. And they were like, well, Jared was like, well, I'm just going to keep it. He's like, I'm going to be putting billboards on it all the time. So at first, like for the first 6 months, something like that, it was our podcast. So it was like me, Jared, and Dave up on it. Yeah. And then after that one ran up, he changed it to his band. And because they had like a new CD coming out. Yeah. So he did that for like whatever it is now. He's getting ready to change it again. Who knows what he's going to put up there this time. But yeah, man, it's hilarious because it's like anytime anybody needs some directions, like, just look for the billboard with my face on. Right. Like, and that's where I live. And they're like, okay.
I live in New Braunfels. Yeah. Over Christmas, I ended up going to Santa Fe. So I went out that way to get on on the highway, and I'm just driving down. And it's like, I don't know, 7 o'clock in the morning. Like, didn't even have coffee.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I look up and I see that, and I'm like, son of a bitch.
That's your big dick in there. Here's where I live. Here's the giant billboard.
I thought it was hilarious because, like, and I know we're talking about Jared. He's not here.
Yeah.
But over the years, he's a very, very, very well thought out troll.
Yeah.
And he's done billboards more than just one time.
Yeah, he's master level for sure.
Yeah, it's insane. Watching his stuff that he does and some of the groups he joins on Facebook just to troll. It's insane, man. Yeah, it's a full-time job. Him just doing that. Ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. So when did so you, I mean, obviously you have a very large following on social medias. When did that start?
So I've been making videos, gosh, since I was 12 or 13.
Okay.
Like me and my buddies would make some videos on YouTube when YouTube was first kind of kicking out. We did that for a couple years, and then as like, this guy went off to college and that guy went off to college and then I went off to college, like we didn't really make videos together anymore. And then it was like, because we were just using some kind of like crappy little flip out
handy
camera, and we didn't really make them there because I didn't have somebody to help film me. But then whenever the first iPhone came out that you could film yourself with, that's when I started picking back up again.
Okay.
And it was like 2014, 2013, somewhere around there was when I started filming videos again myself. I just film random little goofy skits and put them on like my Facebook and stuff like that. And then 2015, I think, was when I first started getting like some decent views on some videos. I was like, okay, we're getting like 4,000 or 5,000 views on this. Oh, that's cool. It's like, something's going on there.
Right.
And then I was working part-time. I was in college and I was working part-time in Advance Auto during the time. And dude, we just have so many characters that come into those.
John and I were going to do a series about gun store customers.
Oh yeah, and,
we
I'm
understand
sure
characters.
it's very similar because it's like that nationwide. It's not just like, oh, I live in West Virginia where a lot of Hicks are. Those people are everywhere, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And it's dudes who are running auto shops out of their garage or their backyard, or like they have some cinder blocks that they prop everybody in the neighborhood's cars up on and fix. So they're coming in 2 and 3 times a day. Man, they're buying a part. And they're like, it's the wrong part. I need to return it. I need to get this part now. And it was just that kind of shit all day. And these guys are so goofy. They come in just like you could see the veins in their cheek because it was so packed full of tobacco. And it's just dribbling down their face. It's dripping all over their shirt. It's like a permanent like mark of just spit in their, like they would come in and be talking to you, spitting all over the place. And that was kind of what inspired a character I just called West Virginia Dad. It's just like ultra redneck dude. I would just put so much Red Man tobacco in my mouth. It was like falling out the whole time I'm talking. It's all in my beard. And it was just me like just saying like really redneck shit and like talking about like, I was like one of the videos that first like did decent, had like 20 or 30,000 views was me. Like I was like pretending to yell at my kids. I was like telling them like, that I was going to use like a video of their birthday that we filmed and I was going to tape over it for monster trucks. So I was like, monster trucks up and I'm going to use that video of the birthday party. I was like, I better not catch no lip about it. Like I was just like talking shit, spitting everywhere. And that was like just kind of how that character started to like build up. And I just kept doing that. And I eventually made a video where I made my own tobacco. That was the first viral video that I had. I called it Yeehaw Chew. And it was just like, just me making a super redneck chewing tobacco. And I had a flavor that was called Mountain Chew. And it was literally just, I put a bunch of tobacco in a Ziploc bag and poured Mountain Dew in it. And then shook it up and I like wrote on it with a marker. And I like had a line that I got. I was like, Dale Earnhardt came to me in a dream last night and was like, Caleb, put the dew in the chew. And I looked at him and I was like, Dale, I'd trust any words that pass through that beautiful mustache of yours. And so I woke up and I did it. I soaked my chew in Mountain Dew and it's the best thing I've ever done. And I was like, as soon as you put this thing in your mouth, you can't help but scream yeehaw. And I was like, I like had a video like where I'm putting it in my mouth. As soon as it touches my lips, I start like yelling yeehaw. But those were my first viral videos, was just me making goofy flavors of tobacco.
Nice.
And then it just kind of spiraled into like all my other content because like I had like multiple characters that I do, and grew a good following on Facebook. And then TikTok came out, and that like went mega viral. Like it was just so easy to go viral on there because like I got in on it while it was still fairly new.
Right.
And so like I was like growing pretty quick on there and got like a good size following on there. Like, we might end up losing it, but they're trying to. It'd be really dumb if it actually did get. I'd be really surprised if it actually did get banned because they would lose so much money if they did. Somebody's going to buy it.
Kevin O'Leary.
Yeah. I was like, there's so many people.
There's a lot of rich
Mr.
people
Beast. Mr. Beast putting an offer in on it too. So there's a lot of people that are trying to buy it because it would lose so much money if they didn't.
Yeah.
So they're trying to sell that, which is whatever. TikTok hasn't really done shit for me in years because they've got so many rules now that you get in trouble all the time.
Yeah.
Cigars and guns.
Yeah. Oh, literally, the dumbest shit, man. A sword.
Yeah.
Like
we get banned. Like I think we're on our like 5th or 6th. We don't even have a Warfighter tobacco TikTok anymore. We went through like 5 of them. Everything I post on my personal gets either restricted or removed.
It happens to me all the time, man. I just had to delete like 5 or 6 videos while I was traveling recently because I always notice it. Like I'll check my analytics like every couple of days, and I notice that if I start just losing a bunch of followers and not gaining, I know I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
So I go through and I'll look. Because sometimes it won't tell you what's in trouble, and that's the most annoying part. But usually it'll be like, oh yeah, this video is in trouble because of a gun. This video is in trouble because of a sword.
Right.
Or whatever. But I had to delete like.
There's literally all the death videos that you can watch.
Dude, you can watch like full porn.
I know. I was gonna say I've seen some pretty outlandish shit on TikTok.
Yeah.
And it's like I can't use a lighter. What? Like that dude just got lit on fire after he soaked in gasoline.
Well, that's why you can't use a lighter.
A lot of people say because it was for a while, it was AI that was the one that would like click the shit. But now they see because that was so inaccurate. Now they just have like buildings of foreign people. It's like somewhere in India, somewhere in China, there's a building where people are just looking at social media all day and they choose what is in trouble or not.
Oh,
and it's
man.
like for them, most of the shit we do is illegal.
Yeah.
Like so they're just like, oh, what you said a cuss word? Oh, what you had a sword?
We should start a series of videos that just speak directly to those people.
And be like, hey,
like
we
to
learn
the
Chinese.
TikTok screener. This is for you, and then do whatever. But
like learn Chinese or learn like Indian,
right?
Like speak directly to them. Please do not ban my page. I'm not doing anything illegal. It's legal here. But dude, yeah. So sometimes it's hard as shit to grow on these pages because you're in trouble all the time and you don't even know what it's for.
Yeah.
So
that's always been my biggest beef with
ours. Like the interesting stuff with everything that we've done since day one is it's all organic. We can't do any paid anything.
Sure, yeah, because it's a cigar. Yeah.
And so it's been really tough. But the cool part about it is like our social media following and like our email list and all of that. Like those are people that like willingly were like, yeah, I like those guys. I'm going to follow them.
Yeah.
Yep. And
so we usually get good interactions and stuff like that. But yeah,
it'd be cool if we could throw some money at it.
Yeah.
Come on, Zuckerberg.
That's how a lot of these a lot of gun companies, like they can't hardly do it either. And like stuff. So that's like pretty much what I do. Is like most of the companies I work with, gun companies and like, obviously like certain cigar companies, stuff like that. Like I'm able to use them in videos and like vaguely talk about them without it being like too direct.
Because there was a period too, and this kind of all went away with the most recent legal stuff that the FDA is doing. But there's a period where the FDA was banning cigar influencers. In manufacturers, our companies, by law, we couldn't use an influencer.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was just like, oh, okay. And then obviously, all this got, appealed and turned over, but still they had some weird shit going on.
Yeah. I don't know what hell they're thinking at the time, but I'm excited to see what happens over the next like few months, man, with Zuckerberg supposedly trying to clear all that stuff up. With Trump coming in and he's going to try and like fix a lot of shit like that.
And have you pushed a lot of gun and cigar stuff on X yet?
Dude, I mean, that stuff always does fine. Like, because X is just like whatever. I mean, you've probably seen it before. Like, I don't even like. I've got plenty of friends that are in that industry. OnlyFans or whatever. Like, it's just full up death, porn.
Right.
Twitter is the Wild West.
It is.
Man. Like, you can do whatever the hell you want on there. And so yeah, there's like I've had plenty. I need to focus on it more because Twitter is becoming such a good place for just any kind of content. And now they have live streaming on there, which is like I was like, I didn't even know that could do that. And the streaming service that I use, just like let me link it to make it super easy, so I can like multi-stream from one thing and stream all these places at once. And I was like, oh well, and then started streaming to Twitter, and it's like fucking 400 and 500 viewers. Like as soon as I started, I was like, oh shit. I was like, that's fucking more than I'm getting on my other pages. And I got like Heather hooked up on it, and I set up all her stuff, and she did it. She had like 5,000 viewers like immediately. I was like, oh my God. I was like, yes. I was like, keep doing that. Cause once they roll out some kind of streaming payment thing, I was like, cause they pay you for like, if you get so many engagements a month, they start to pay you. But you got to get like a crap load of engagements before the money's worth it. Right. Like billions. Yeah. But with the streaming thing coming out, like I think it could end up becoming like something that competes with Twitch and YouTube for that kind of stuff.
So we need naked chicks shooting machine guns while smoking a cigar.
Yeah, I mean, literally, you should like that'd be funny to just try. Just like
break out, try to break the algorithm.
Just see what happens. Like, we're trying this new marketing method on Twitter since like you can do whatever. So we got like
it just starts like heavy metal.
Yeah, it's just like girls like 69 and while shooting guns, they both have cigars. Like,
and then there's just like you cut to like like where people are just getting executed.
It's them. They're shooting terrorists.
They're literally killing people while smoking cigars.
It's naked girls smoking cigars and shooting terrorists like in the face. Like that's your new marketing. It's just pedophiles and terrorists, and it's just hot
line them up,
killing them all.
I mean, I don't see a problem with this.
And like people are watching, they're like, wait, at the end of it, it's just like Warfighter tobacco. And you're like, wait, what? That was an ad? Holy shit.
Well, I'm going to
buy those cigars. Holy shit. These guys rule. One girl's just eating a cheeseburger. And it's like everything like Americans love.
We might have to do this. Justin, you making notes?
Yeah. We need to find some terrorists that we can kill local. But yeah, dude, it would be funny to like, try some version of that.
Right.
It's not like obviously not that extreme, but like just try something silly on there and just see what it does.
I know it was crazy when Mr. Beast was openly like, he was putting his videos out that did well on YouTube and then was openly putting out like, here's how much money I made. Yeah. Like he was just like, for anybody wondering how much money you can make on Twitter.
Yeah.
Here's your answer.
Oh, yeah, because that video got like 20 million.
So yeah.
What did he make?
It wasn't. Well, actually, it was like 20 grand. So
yeah,
it was like 20 some grand. It got X amount of millions of views. Like it was like a lot of millions, and he made like $20,000 from it or something like that. He's like, but like nobody else is getting 200 million views on a video like Mr. Beast does in every video. So. It's really cool for you, Mr. Beast. Like we aren't quite on
20 cents.
Yeah, we're kind of not quite on that level.
Right.
So, but yeah, it is cool that like and I think he does some stuff with Elon. I think like they obviously chit chat and talk together. So it is cool to see what's going to come up with Twitter and then Facebook changing. Because dude, if Meta changes, man, that'd be
huge.
Man. That would fix everything. We could do so much more cool shit on there. And then all the gun shit.
So it'll change for this 4 years.
Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then it depends on the next election.
Yeah. What happens
if it goes back or it stays this way?
Like, dude, I almost wonder if they could even because it seems like the majority of people want it. They're like, let's go back to where like it doesn't suck. Like we're not just pussies all the time.
Well, and honestly, that's why X or Twitter got as big as it did, as fast as it did. That's why TikTok got as big as fast as it did. It's because the other platforms were so restrictive. People are like, I need something else. If you look at there's so many out there, but there's probably 50 other social media type platforms that are there.
Yeah.
That are being used. They have, tens of millions or more users on each platform, and people have no idea about any of them.
They have that new one that everybody's like, are you going to be going? I think it's called Red Note.
We were just talking about that the other day.
Another version of TikTok. They're like, it's like just most of it, I've seen people try to like post on it, and most of it's still in Chinese.
Yeah.
I'm like, how are we even going to use this yet? I was like, I have to learn Chinese to post here. I was like, I don't know if I can commit to that one.
All the UI is in like Mandarin.
Yeah,
like there's no like and like all the numbers not in US.
Yeah,
like,
I was like, I'm probably not going to that at least until I can read it. So people were like, are you going to go to Reddit? I was like, no. I was like, go to Instagram, because like I'll have a bunch of people like commenting on my stuff on TikTok. They're like, I'm really going to miss you when this page is gone. I'm like, I made content on like 10 other pages.
Right.
I was like, and I know you probably have those pages. I was like, just like my page there. And like, dude, people are just like, no, that's too much work. Nah, I don't want to type your name in over there. I'm just like, okay. But yeah, dude, I'd be really surprised if we even lost TikTok. So
yeah.
I
think we find out quickly though. Like
the
19th is the deadline, I think.
I think so. That they have to come to some kind of agreement.
It's funny that the 19th they have to make an agreement, and then the 20th is inauguration day.
So I was listening to Kevin O'Leary. He's talking about buying it, but he's like, he said Biden can put a 30-day stay or something in if there's a legit offer from an American company to buy it.
Yeah.
And he said that would put it in Trump's hands. And he said that's what they're trying to do right now, is make a legitimate offer.
Right.
So that it doesn't get decided. It gets pushed.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Speaking of that, I read an article yesterday that the SEC is suing Elon Musk because he didn't file with them. So before he bought Twitter, he slowly bought about 5% of the company over a couple months.
Yeah.
And then he bought Twitter. So I guess there's some rule or law that he has to report his ownership to the SEC in a certain amount of time. And he was 11 days past that deadline. And they're suing him for like something like $150 or $250 million.
Of course. Yeah.
You know, and it's just like, really? Like you're trying to get money out of the richest man in the world. He's just going to be like, cool, here's a check, fuck off.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but you have a meeting with Doge about 3 days before that. So
yeah.
I hope the SEC and FINRA just
because the SEC's government ran, right?
SEC and FINRA.
Yeah, fuck them.
But they essentially step on each other's toes.
Right.
So if you abolish both of those and essentially put them together with a minimal amount of regulation just to keep like shit honest.
Yeah.
It'd work perfect. But having two of those, it's fucking stupid.
Yeah. I mean, they talk about similar shit with the ATF. Like, like it's the same thing. Like to a degree, like we do need the ATF.
Yeah, I agree.
You need the ATF, but like obviously a lot of it's bullshit.
Yeah.
Well, the ATF shouldn't be able to create laws out of thin air.
No, well, here I'll give you the perfect example.
Yeah,
we do cigars. That's tobacco.
Yeah.
The ATF is alcohol, tobacco, firearms, and explosives. ATF, BFE, whatever.
Yeah.
The FDA regulates us.
Yeah.
And
the Food and Drug Administration regulates us when the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms Administration doesn't.
We don't answer to the ATF at all.
Yeah.
Anything.
That makes no sense. Like,
it's like,
like, what are we doing?
But that was Obama. Obama put tobacco under the FDA instead of the ATF. And it was under the Cosmetic Protection Act.
Sure.
Because, that had something to do with, hand-rolled premium cigars.
Yeah. I mean, I could understand like cigarettes or something maybe to that point.
Well, I think the reason the ATF got tobacco in the first place was to enforce taxes on cigarettes.
Yeah.
But that's not enforced. Taxes aren't enforced at all by the ATF anymore, are they?
No, it's customs.
I don't think so. Yeah.
Well, customs and local and
it's either state level or it's I'm assuming custom border patrol because they're who we have to clear in order to bring into the country and pay our S-chip to.
Right.
I don't know if it directly goes to them. It goes to the government, but supposedly to fund schools.
Sure.
Yeah.
I would love to see that paper trail of money.
Sure. With anything. Dude, damn. Yeah. All that shit's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it'll be interesting to see how everything plays out. And I mean, I probably sound like a broken record the amount of times I've said this on the podcast in the last 6 months, but the shit's going to change.
Yeah.
It's already starting.
It's already doing it. Yeah.
if anything, the next 4 years is going to be entertaining.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
It should be a fun couple of years here.
Yeah. Yep. What do you got on the horizon? Anything fun?
Ooh, yeah. Yeah. Working with a lot of cool new companies, dude. Going to be going to Africa to do some hunting here in March. That'll be fun. We got SHOT Show.
You can throw out with who? We don't.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to with Q. If you guys aren't familiar with Q, the listeners, they make the honey badger and the sugar weasel and
some suppressors.
Yeah, a lot of really cool suppressors. They like their rifles.
They come up with awesome calibers.
They do.
That's the cool.
And that's one of the things I'm going to be trying to do with them is because like that 8.6 is still a fairly new round, and they're trying to bring awareness to that as much as the 300 blackout.
It's better than the 300.
It is. It's basically
it's a 338 300 blackout.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, just imagine the 300, but double it.
Yeah,
and it is so cool. It does so much damage.
Right.
The subsonic on it is wicked. The capabilities of it are like they were giving me the spiel of like we can make an armor piercing round in this, and because of the size of this bullet, like we will be able to make explosive rounds in this. Mm-hmm. So the capabilities of this bullet are like limitless.
Well, that's a good point with explosive stuff in bullets. A lot of times you can't do it because they're too fast.
Yeah,
because it's subsonic.
Yep. So there's so many applications because they're it's a lot of it is for military application that they're trying to push that for.
Yeah, military contract.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and because they've already got some with like some of their systems that they've come up with, like the triggers and stuff. So like they're really making some cool new shit there. Yeah. It is super cool. But all of those guys there are amazing. Super pumped to be able to have the opportunity to go to Africa and do a hunt with them and like try out these guns on a bunch of animals. And it's going to be cool. And it's like they're doing data. It's like they're like seeing, they're like, okay, this is how deep the bullet is going on this animal at this distance with subsonic.
Right.
Okay, now we're going to shoot supersonic at fucking 1,000 yards and see what it does there.
Yeah.
Like so it's really cool that you're like you're almost doing like military like application field
like
data. Ballistics testing by hunting. So it's really fucking cool to be a part of. So
well, there's only
way better than ballistics.
So there's three kinds of ballistics. There's your initial, and then there's your in flight, and then there's your terminal ballistics.
Yeah,
terminal's the hardest to test. Like
So and
well, it's the hardest to test without getting live feedback.
Yeah. So we're going to be doing a lot of that, and so yeah, I'm really really excited for that, man. That should be a lot of fun. We got SHOT Show coming up. A lot of cool stuff going to be going on there, dude. A lot of people hate SHOT Show. Like that, like in the industry, they're like, man, there's no way I'm going to SHOT Show. I'm so tired of SHOT Show, dude. I have so much fun.
Yeah, but have you ever worked a SHOT Show?
That's what it would be.
I was a firearms manufacturer. And I worked a booth.
That makes sense.
SHOT Show.
Hating it.
I was a buyer for years.
Sure. Yeah.
And so like, it sucked.
Yeah,
there's no other way.
That makes sense because it's a hassle.
And it wasn't so much it sucked because it's like I have 1,000 places to go in 3 days.
Sure,
and there's 80,000 people in my way. It's more like I can't believe I'm spending this much money right now.
Yeah.
And they want me to be happy while I'm doing it.
Yeah, and you can't you can't sell while you're there, can you? Most of the time,
not directly. Yeah. But the whole point is to take orders.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So and even that, a lot of people are like, if it's just like a normal person viewing it, they're like, if I can't buy it now, I'm not going to do it. So that's another annoyance.
Have you ever been to the NRA show?
You know what? No, but I think I'm going to go this year.
I think I'm going to go.
Yeah, because I've been invited the last 3 years, and it's always during some other event.
Right.
Yeah, and it's been in Houston, but then it got postponed or something.
I think it's in Atlanta now.
Okay.
Because they're rebuilding that convention center. They're completely redoing it, and that's why Dallas Safari Club was in Atlanta this year. And they said it'll be there for the next 4 years, I think. So I think NRA might be the same.
Okay.
But that place was really nice too.
Yeah.
But Atlanta just kind of sucks. Like there just wasn't really much to do outside of the conference. There's there wasn't a whole lot of amazing food or anything like that. So it was just kind of
there's a lot of really good cigar lounges in Atlanta.
Oh yeah. You know what? We went to one. It was actually really nice. It was more like a club vibe, but it was a nice cigar lounge. I forget what it was called, but yeah, they do have a lot of them there. But yeah, food wise was trash. I think that's why I like going to Vegas so much, man. Because like with all the food options, dude, and that's another thing. There's a few cigar lounges I want to try out. I went to the Monte Cristo last time I was there. That was beautiful. But there's one called the 8. I think is that
I have mixed feelings.
It's in Resorts World.
Is it like
if
I haven't been yet, but
if you went there like you're dressed right now, they won't.
Oh no, yeah. I'll make sure I'm like looking presentable.
So we were setting up for the trade show one year in Vegas, for the cigar trade show.
And so it's like a Wednesday, or it's like the day before.
It's the day before the show, right? So we get done setting up. We're staying at Resorts World. We get back, and we're like, "Fuck it, let's go down to 8, have a cigar, figure out what we want to do for the evening, go get dinner, and whatever." Right? And I'm dressed in jeans and a t-shirt. I'm a jeans and t-shirt kind of guy. You know what I mean? So I walk up and I was like, "Hey," and it's like 3:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Hey, I got like 8 people. Do you guys have any open tables? We'd like to try to grab one. If you do." And before I got a yes or no, the lady's like, "I just want to let you know that it's a $50 spend per person if you want to come in here."
And not one drink you buy there is under $50.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's hard.
and so I literally just looked at it and I'm like, you do understand that a cigar trade show is about to show up and you're about to have thousands of people that want to,
come in here.
Yeah. And I was like, you know what? I'm like, never mind. I'm all set.
Yeah.
So we went to one of the circle bars and we got a fucking $2,000 tab.
Yeah.
And
between like, 4 of us or 6 of us.
Yeah. And it's just like, you know what? Like,
but we were there one year and luckily I didn't have to pick up the tab.
Yeah.
But somebody I was drinking with, he was buying drinks for what? 4 people?
Yeah.
Oof. And I think he had a $3,500 tab.
Yeah, it was stupid.
It's expensive.
But so now when I go there for the shows, the show's not in Vegas this year, but what I'll do is I'll go there in the evenings and I'll go to walk in and like, "Sir, we don't have any tables." That's fine. I know some people in here. I just want to say hi real quick. Okay, come on in. And I go do a lap and I try to pull as many people out as there as I fucking can. Fuck them.
You know what though? But I've never been there when it's not been the cigar trade show.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the cigar trade show, you got to think every cigar manufacturer, and a lot of the retailers in the country are there. So when you go into 8, it's elbow to elbow, and it's fucking packed.
Yeah, that doesn't sound.
So it might
be loud as shit.
Okay. It might be better during SHOT Show.
All right,
but it's beautiful.
Yeah, that's like
absolutely.
One of our friends works there. She does some kind of work with Resorts World. She's like, "Come by, like we'll go to the get a cigar. Like I'll get us a table." So I was like, "That sounds cool."
It's really really nice.
Okay,
don't get me wrong.
Yeah. If I can get in there, I'll definitely. I'd like to check it out. We went to the Monte Cristo a couple months ago.
There's that David off one too.
Yeah. I need to go to that one. Yeah,
it's small, but it's
But dude, you talking about Circle Bar? I love Circle Bar, man.
Yeah,
that's where everybody hangs out. It's the place. It's so fun, man. And I like the Venetian. It's that I like the food there. There's that one restaurant because I always end up eating there. Literally, a lot of days during the show, I end up eating there 2 or 3 times.
Right,
because we'll go in early, we'll get breakfast or something there, go into the show, walk around for a while, come out, get lunch, and then around 1 a.m. after we're done at Circle.
You're like, I'm starving.
Yeah, we end up finishing there. Dude, they just have everything. I forget. It's the main. God, I'm trying to remember what it's called. But it's like as soon as you walk into the hotel, there's an escalator right here, and there's 2 little cigar shops that are really close to it. It's the first restaurant there on the right.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it looks like it's just like a small little restaurant in front, but you walk through the pathway on the left, and it goes to a huge restaurant. Yeah. But dude, everything I've gotten there has always been amazing.
Yeah.
And I love it. They have breakfast like all day, all the time. I'm like, fuck yeah. I love the place that does that, dude. So, yeah, we eat there all the time. So yeah, I always have a good time out there.
Yeah, we got we got Vegas here in a couple days.
Literally, like 3 days.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah.
I think I saw something. You're doing a little comedy while you're out there.
I'm not this year.
Okay.
I might go to that show. Yeah, we did it at the Burbiz last year.
Yeah,
that event's always really cool.
Okay.
But it is at, I think it's Caesar's Palace. It's the House of Blue at Caesar's, I believe. But whatever it is, it's at a House of Blue.
Yeah.
So it's probably Caesar's. But
that
that's always a cool one, man. A lot of cool vets doing stand up there. I think that's why I'm not doing it this year because I'm not a vet. So they try to like stick with that theme. And I was like, I'm not a vet. So it makes sense that you would want vet comedians. for this veteran thing.
The chick was pretty funny.
Oh, dude, she's hilarious. And I think she. I'm not sure.
I think she's
there or not.
I think
she's there again.
She's not, but I think she's doing it again this year.
She's so good. Yeah, she's hilarious. She works in. She's in Austin. She is at Comedy Mothership all the time. She works with all those big guys.
What's her name? Christina.
I think so. Christina something. But yeah, she's very, very.
I can't remember the last name.
Her stuff. Just her little her character she plays.
Yeah, her presentation
is very good.
Yeah. She's like
she nails it.
Yeah,
it's like almost like shy and like bashful, or like
and then she hammers
really
you with
dark.
the
like, like, whoa, shy, bashful, and dumb.
Yeah,
and then she comes
very dark. Yeah, and you're like, oh shit. Yeah.
Speaking of female characters, your rendition of a female character in all your videos is one of my favorite things in the world. It really is, because it was so unique.
Yeah.
And I don't care who you are, you know what it means. Yeah. You just put a paper towel over your head. I thought it was awesome.
Dude, I love it. And that's like because there's been plenty of people that are like, dude, why don't you just like use a wig or something?
This is
like,
way better.
Way better.
I'm like, no, I'm never gonna do that. I was like, I will put one piece of toilet paper on my head, or one Kleenex, or one napkin, like any kind of little tissue that I can put on my head to be hair. I was like, that's what I'm gonna use. Sometimes, dude, there's been plenty of times I've tried to make those videos and I almost give up, because like if I'm outside somewhere doing it, like it don't stay there, man. Like any amount of air at all, and that shit's flying off my head. It's not like I'm having to like film it really quick, or it's like falling off, and I'm like having to like angle my head so that it doesn't blow away.
Right.
But yeah, dude, there's plenty of times that I make those goofy videos with toilet paper hair.
How did you come up with that? Like, what sparked that idea?
Dude, I was just like sitting at the house at that time. This was like 2017, I think, was when I made the first one that had a girl like with that hair. And because there for a while, I would use one sock. I would use a sock. I would do like a sock, or like a random, like sometimes I would put like just a t-shirt, and like it would just look so stupid. And it's just like hanging off my head on both sides. And I'm just like, that's hair. But then I just got to the point where I thought it would be funny, because I was playing a blonde girl in the video. So I was like, I'll use a piece of toilet paper because it's vaguely blonde. Right. And I was just like, you know what? I'm just doing that from now on, because like people love it. They're like, because people are like, I love that I knew that character was a girl because it had a piece of toilet paper on it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And why do we know that?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
There it is. It's perfect. It's so awesome.
I mean, you look like a bitch there.
Yeah. Like I look really fuckable there, dude. Like I could, like I probably have huge tits. I'm probably sexy as shit. Like as soon as I put that on,
even with the beard, it's crazy.
Like,
you overlook the beard once you see that.
I know.
Look at that beautiful
that toilet
hair.
paper's hot.
You're like, damn. I take it off. They're like, oh shit.
Where'd that come from?
What the fuck? Gotcha. Yeah, dude, I love doing that, man. And like, I'm gonna try and we've been talking about like for doing some longer videos for YouTube where I just play like I play every single character in like a longer video for YouTube.
Okay,
or it'd be like me playing 4 or 5 different characters. And me still just doing that and just using a piece of toilet paper as like the hair for girls.
How do you do it with a straight face?
Dude, oh man, there's because a lot of the stuff, and not to sound like I'm just being like, oh yeah, I'm so funny, I make myself laugh. But like there's plenty of times that, because every video I make, I come up with a general idea and then I just spitball shit. Right. I just start recording. And because that always ends up being the best for me. If I just like am doing it off the fly, it always is the funniest because it's so stupid. And there's plenty of times that I'll say something and then I'll crack up. Like after I say it, I'll be like, I can't. 'Cause last night I was filming a fucking video and about a genie, and it's like a series. Like I've done plenty of videos about genies and stuff where I like wish for really fucked up shit. And the first recording of that, I like wished for something and I like changed his name to something fucking stupid. And then I was like, do genies cry? And he's like, no, like we don't, we have emotions, but like we don't really like display them really. And I was like, cool. And the next line was like, well, have you ever given head? and I just started like dying laughing as soon as I said that. Because I was gonna play the other character and just be the genie, just like staring at him, like
you just start crying.
like please, because I wanted to do it and I ran out of time because there's a lot of times that I fuck up and I set the timer for just 60 seconds and I run out of time. I'm like, fuck, I already made the video. I'll just go ahead and post it. But I was gonna do that and I was gonna like pretend to make the genie like wish for him to give me head. And then the last wish I was gonna be like, okay, now I wish that you could cry. and then it was gonna be him crying while sucking my dick and me being like, yeah, this is awesome. But I was like, that's probably gonna be a little too dark. That's probably gonna get me flagged. I was like, so that was gonna be the thing that I did do.
How would you get banned for like pretending like you're sucking your own dick?
It's just the fact of anything sucking dick. Yeah, like they're gonna be like, no, you can't pretend to be a genie sucking your own dick, okay? like I'm sure TikTok's be like, no, you can't do that. Come on. So,
yeah, it's all ridiculous. I asked because of the cracking up part because like when we try to film serious stuff that's scripted,
sure,
I fucking lose it. I can't, and there's nothing funny about it.
That's because you're laughing at yourself fucking it up.
Like, I'm such an idiot. Yeah, man, and that's like, dude, there's so much shit. Like when me and Heather filmed together, dude, God, sometimes
like catch my gum,
dude. Yeah, oh yeah, dude. That was because the first thing we were gonna do that I was gonna try and catch it with my mouth. Like, that was gonna be like there's like a funny little thing, but dude, every time we film together, like there's so many times that like we like a lot of times when we film together, she's like, all right, don't look at me. She's like, do not even make eye contact with me while I'm saying
like
this
get
shit.
out of the room.
Like so I'll like be looking away or some shit and she'll crack up, or like there's plenty of times that we like deliver lines to each other and I'm immediately like, like
what was the one you guys did before Vegas last year where you called her a stupid bitch or something?
Oh, dude, yeah, we did one.
It was fucking hilarious.
We did the one right before Vegas that did so well. It was a trend that was going on where it was like, we're best friends. She and hers were like wholesome. She was like, we're best friends, so of course I'm gonna like, do something. It was like, of course I'm gonna grab him a drink if I'm out or something like that. I was like, we're best friends. Of course, I'm going to put like a little bit of ketamine in her drinks just to kind of fuck with her. And then it would come in and she's like, what? She's like, no, that's not what friends are. I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, it's so fun. She's like, no, she's like, I've been having nightmares. I'm like, whatever. And then they'll cut back to her and be like, we're friends, I think. And it was just such a funny fucking video, man. It did really well, but yeah, dude.
That the one when you were the security guard. And
oh, dude,
that one was funny.
Okay. And that's one thing. Like a lot of people ask me, like, what are my favorite videos to do? And a lot of them have been like being parts of because Heather, like, it's like that, these are her big ideas. Like she comes because like for Black Rifle, we'll usually try to do some kind of big Halloween video and some kind of big Christmas video. And the last few years, hers have been so fun.
That was the Die Hard one.
Yeah, dude, that Die Hard video was like one of my all-time favorite things to be a part of. And it all ended up coming out that way. And vaguely, when Heather writes me a part in her videos, it's like, here's the part. She's like, I'm not writing your lines. She's like, I want you to come up with that shit. Or she'll give me a vague something to go by. She's like, but change that around to however you want. Mm-hmm. So last year when we were doing the Die Hard spoof, when I got there, they didn't bring my gun belt. So I didn't have anywhere to holster my gun. So I just made sure that I talked with it the whole time. So I'm like talking to her and I'm like pointing it at her a lot. And I'm like, there was a scene that they cut that was so funny because right after that scene, she went to light that up and I was like, hey, no smoking in here. And I put the whole barrel against her face and put the cigarette in the barrel and then just flung it. Like flung the cigarette. And dude, it was so fucking funny. And they said, they're like, nah, like we can't use that. Like they're like, people might get a little pissed about that one. I was like, all right. But like I'm getting pissed at her the whole time because I'm like chatting up like a babe that's there.
Right.
I'm like, hey, can you leave me the fuck alone? I'm like, can you leave me the fuck alone? I'm like, can't you see I'm trying to talk to this babe? And I'm like talking to her. I'm like, I really like your dress. I'm like aiming the gun at her the whole time. Like it matches your lipstick. I'm like touching her lips with the gun and she's just like, oh, like it's so stupid. But at the end, I can't remember what it was like in the actual movie that made him. He became like that cop, and he was like, "Shouldn't you be like working the streets or some shit?" Like, and he's like, "Oh, I did, but I did something, and now I do here." My guy's thing was, I work here at this this big building now is security because like there was a bunch of kids playing with airsoft guns, and I didn't know. And I just shot like 10 kids, like in an alleyway one night or something. I was like, so like I can't be like a normal cop anymore. And then at the end of the fucking video, the scene like on Die Hard, whenever like it's like everything's ending, but there's the one last terrorist that was like alive, and he comes out and he's like about to shoot him, and then that cop pulls his gun out and kills him. So it's like that scene, and I pull my gun out and I aim it at the dude who's like about to shoot Heather, and then it's like the camera is down my arm, so you're like see down the sights, and I'm aiming it at him while he's in slow mo and he's cocking his gun and shit. And then I pan over and there's like a little kid bouncing a basketball, and I just look at him, I'm like sweating and stuff, and I like want to like shoot the kid, and then I go back over him and he's like pulling it up to aim it, and then I go back over and there's another kid with like a train. I'm just like aiming at the kid. I'm like, and then I just like close my eyes and then just start firing, and like I shoot that terrorist like 10 times or something. It's like it's so ridiculous, but they let me come up with all of that, and I was like I can't believe they let me do it because it was so ridiculous, but it was so fucking funny, dude. Yeah, so that was like one of the best fucking like, man. I want to chop that up more sometimes. I'm like, dude, that is some of the funniest shit that I've got to ever be a part of. And then we did the one video with her where she was like a witch, and we were like blaming shit on her, and it's like, you know, old timey, like they were like, if a girl could do math, they would like, accuse her of being a witch or some shit. Or if like a woman caught her man like cheating on her or something, he'd be like, no, my wife's a witch. Like, let's kill her. Like, I didn't cheat. Like, she's a witch. So let's just kill her. And so it was a scene like that. And like, we were just coming up with shit. Like, yeah, like, and I said something. I was like, yeah, I was like, she made me drink milk out of a God, she's like, I was like, yeah, she made me milk a boy cow. And then it like pauses for a second. And I was like, with my butt. and everybody's like just looking at me. I was like, yeah, she made me do it though, because she's a witch. I was like, I wouldn't have just done that. And so it was just like the dumbest fucking lines, dude. And it's so fun. We got to do a Home Alone video last Christmas, or the Christmas before this one. That one was fun as shit because I just played like a deranged version of Kevin, where like all the like traps I built just like killed everybody in ridiculous ways. And yeah, that was a really fun one. But yeah, man, every time Heather gets the chance to write one of these big production videos, I'm like really pumped for it because I want it to be like some just insane character. But yeah, those are like a lot of my funnest videos.
Yeah, I remember something like the OG. Article 15 of Black Rifle videos.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they could do them today.
Yeah. Well, the one we did with Black Rifle.
That thing got pulled so much.
It got banned real fast.
Oh, really?
We did
with our gunshot.
Yeah, way back. This is before Warfighter.
You ever saw the fuck hipster coffee video?
Oh, I don't think so.
Yeah.
So Logan came out to Nebraska and filmed with us. Cool. And at the time, we just so happened to have, I think, 12 Glock 18s.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if there's ever been that many in one place that people shot at the same time.
I wish that video existed.
But we filled a barrel, 55-gallon drum. We painted it blue and we put hipster coffee on it. And we put all the guys in a semicircle and we dumped like 400 rounds in like 2 seconds on this barrel. We filled it with water and it just exploded.
Yeah.
I came out with a belt fed M60, one handed, just hip firing this thing. We had a cannon shoot off and all this stuff. And yeah, I mean, it was cool as shit.
Yeah.
But this was like, what was this? Like 2014, 2015?
Yeah.
I think it's 2015.
Yeah.
It was one of the first like joint ventures that Black Rifle ever kind of did.
Yeah.
And every time they did a batch of that roast, we sold out like immediately.
The media got a hold of that video and held it.
Yeah, I'm in cowboy boots, a kilt with an M60, and I'm on like Utah News and Fox News and all this shit. And I'm just like, this is good.
That's fun though. Yeah,
that was great. We had a great time.
But like it could get back to that, like at least vaguely close to that.
Yeah.
And that's like what we're hoping for. And that's like a big thing. Like we've got a lot of really cool content planned for this year with Black Rifle. Like I've got a few things that I'm doing specifically with them as well this year. Like a project that I've had this idea with them for like 2 years now. And we just like, like when we went public, we had like a bunch of old men that were like on the board now, and like we couldn't get hardly anything approved. They wouldn't let us do shit for like a year. Every time we film something, they'd be like, "No." I'm like, "What the fuck?" So they got that handle.
Realize that you're it's the company.
That's how this grew.
Yeah.
That's how we got to where we are.
Why we're here.
But their reasoning was they're like, "No, we're in Walmart now, so like we don't care. Like that's our focus."
Okay.
So that's like that was the old people's thoughts. But they got rid of those guys or whatever. They changed them, so now it's like free for all again.
Nice.
And so we've had some really fun meetings lately, and we got like a lot of really cool stuff planned. I've got a Survivor show that I've been writing, and kind of like this is a play on some of the first videos I ever did, like when I was 12 and 13. They were called Barracuda Storm on YouTube, and it was me doing a spoof of like Man versus Wild. It was like I'm out surviving in the wilderness, but I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm giving you bad advice. I'm eating the wrong things. I'm getting sick, and so I was like, man, it's like that was what I was known for in my hometown. Was that like going through middle school and high school, like all my teachers, like everybody, like they're like, well, I love those videos. Like it was cool. Like I was popular in my hometown because of that before it was even viral. So I was like, man, I would love to go and do that, because even right now there's like 10 different survival shows out right now. Yeah. They're like ongoing, and like they're very popular. Everybody loves them. We got like Naked and Afraid, and all the like new ones where it's like contestants are like going against each other. And then there's so many pages on YouTube that are like dudes that are doing survival stuff.
And like that alone, that's a good one.
Yeah, there's so many really cool ones, and they are all really fun to watch. Yeah. But there's no comedy ones. And this was originally
well, I mean, Naked and Afraid technically could be comedy.
Yeah, there's plenty of funny shit that goes on, but like, dude, the stuff that we have wrote out for the first 3 episodes of this is so ridiculous and so funny, because I want to make the episodes like just 12 to 15 minutes long. That way I can be beat after beat after beat of just ridiculous shit. And I've got like some of the dumbest shit where like my guy like that I play is like, he's a survival expert, but he was a Boy Scout. He was like a bug enthusiast. Like he was just like, I don't have any of the credentials. My cameraman is an actual, like, you know, he was a ranger and he has all this survival expertise and stuff. And he saves my ass a lot without me really realizing it in the show. Like that's like an ongoing thing that will go on. But it's like, my character is like actually really good at certain things, and killing is one of them. Yeah. Like I'm really good at killing shit. And there's going to be scenes where I'm like, we have a scene right out where I'm like just by the fire, and I'm like all scratched up and shit. And I've got like 2 big turkey legs that I'm like cooking on the fire, and I like pull them off. And he's like, where did you get that? He's like, I was asleep for like an hour. Where'd you guys? Like, guys, like I found this like bird nest, and like, you know, I got like 6 birds here. And he's like, what the fuck is it? Like I'm going to have like feathers stuffed in my clothing and shit for like warmth and stuff. And I'm going to have like a bald eagle's like head that I'm wearing and stuff. But it's going to be like, I just killed like a shitload of bald eagles, and I'm just like eating like huge turkey legs and stuff. So it's going to be shit like that all the time, where he's like, we can't. We can't film.
We can't
film this.
in that skit. You got to include the eagles that had the camera on them.
Yeah.
Like make that like part of it.
One of them's got a track,
and then you're shit. Yeah. Like you're in the news.
The one,
you fly a drone in, and like you catch the drone.
The ones that have the camera watching the nest. Yeah, it's me, and I'm like putting my hand through an egg, and I'm just drinking the egg. Shit. I'm like choking one of the eagles while it's like scratching the shit out of it, or I'm just smashing all these eggs and eating them, and then the mom comes in and I'm like fighting her and shit.
You come back to your cameraman, you be like, "Hey, got an extra thing for your setup
for you if you want one."
And a camera.
Yeah, but dude, we have so much dumb shit, bro. Like there's a guy who's really popular on the internet right now. I think he's called like Outdoor Boys or something. I think is his page. He's super popular. His stuff is awesome, but he's just like this like regular looking dude who's just like goes out and stays in the wilderness for a few days at a time, like just whenever he's free. He goes, that guy right there, Outdoor Boys. He's awesome. He's super enjoyable to watch. But one of his things is he bakes bread every time he camps somewhere. He brings dough in like a Ziploc bag, because he can smash it real flat. And he pulls it out and he just makes like nice like loaves of bread every time he hikes and camps and stuff. And it'll be like a blizzard, and he's dug a hole into the snow, but he's got like a fireplace that he's baking bread on. And I was like, that's hilarious. So I wanted to do shit where I'm making entire cakes. And I'm using like I've got like a snake I've like smashed up a bunch of berries and like I like mixed berries and sap and stuff, and I've got it jammed
like a pastry bag.
I wanted to do like a rattlesnake and have it jammed through it, and I'm using it to like pipe icing onto like a snake, like a cake and stuff, and or it's just like I wanted it to be like the snake's head at the end. I'm like piping it out of its mouth like onto the snake, and just like make ridiculous shit, man. But like we have so much fun stuff wrote out for this that I was like, dude, is like this could be like huge, like this could do so well. And like I pitched it to Black Rifle, and they're like, yes, they're like we want it, like we'll pay for it all because we want to like go to locations and do it. And I was telling Kevin that with Q, I was like. I'd mentioned it on the when I went and hung out with him. He's like, dude, you could film episodes of your shit. I was like, dude, I could film like 4 episodes of that there. There's like because there's like a jungly area, there's like savanna areas. I was like, dude, I could knock out so much shit for that there, and just like do because I'm going to be doing like mid-roll ads, like sponsored by like I'm going to be like wearing like certain clothing for different brand stuff like while I'm doing it to like for my sponsors. But I'm so excited for this because it could be so funny, and eventually like. I want to start having guests on it that are like people because we're friends with a lot of people that are on Naked and Afraid and stuff.
Yeah, right.
And one of our friends, Laura Zara, she's like the queen of it. She wins it like every time she's on. So I wanted to eventually get her on for an episode and just like because a lot of these guys are always drink their pee a lot, and I wanted to be like my dude saying like he won't even hardly drink water, like it's just
and then she shows up
and I'm like I'm like I don't know, like I'll like maybe you should just pee into my mouth and I'll pee into your mouth and like we don't have to like we won't have to even get dirty like it'll like. I don't have a bag or anything, so like we should just probably piss directly into each other's mouths. Like, it's just gonna be like shit like that. Like I'm like my dick, and you know how when you get stung by a fucking jellyfish, you're supposed to get pissed on.
Yep.
Like my guy's gonna play like he's gonna play that up big. Like every time I get like a bite by something or anything, I'm like, I don't know, like you should probably piss on it, like just to be safe. You should probably piss on me. And it'll like cut back to her talking, and she's like, no, I'm not gonna do it. And then it'll cut back to me. I'm just already gonna be like naked, laying on the ground. I'm like, hurry, just like piss all over me if you can. Like I feel like I'm already breaking out. Like something's happening. I just need to be pissed on. Like just like silly shit like that. There was a lot of really fun scenes from Bear Grylls on Man vs. Wild. Whenever there was one scene where he's trying to get honey out of a bee's nest, and he got stung like a fuckload. And his whole face is gigantic for the rest of the episode. It's so big that he can't see everything. He looks ridiculous. I want to do a play on that where like one night I'm like cooking something and I'm sitting on an anthill and my ass gets like all swollen, and for the rest of the episode my ass is just huge, and like every time I move my cheeks are slapping and shit, like so like as I'm like moving through like the woods and stuff, like every time I go somewhere it's just like clapping because my ass cheeks are so fat. And it was just like dumb shit like that all the time, man. There's one episode of Man vs. Wild where he eats like it's called like a rhino worm or something. He like pulls open a piece of bark. It's like the biggest grub in the world. It's like huge. And he bites into it and like so much goo comes out of it and goes flying. I want to like have that be a reoccurring thing where like I'm like starving. I'm like looking for shit. And I like pull back like something. And there's just like, we're going to get like one of our buddies to make props.
Yeah.
And just make this like the biggest, fattest worm ever. That's like a forearm size. I'm like, what the fuck? And like my guy's like, oh God, not another one of these. I'm like, fuck it. I'm like, I'm so hungry. I'm gonna like bite into it, and it's just gonna be like so much shit spraying out of it.
You should make it look like the tremor.
That's vaguely like we're doing like a small tremor that I'm going to be biting into, and it's going to have so much like we're going to fill it with like Jello and like cream and stuff like that. So it's just like red and like white spraying out of it all the time, and just like make it so ridiculous. Yeah, that's what he looked like when he got stung, dude. So we talked about like doing that, and we talked about
because the day I found out I was allergic to bees.
We talked about me either doing the ass scene where my ass gets giant, or I get stung on like the dick or something, and then like my pants are just like huge. Like, I've got like a huge
just on the head of your dick.
Like
a little shaft and a huge head.
You can see that it's just like either the balls are huge or just the tip of the dick is huge, like something hilarious. But really excited for that.
That's funny.
Yeah. And there's so many of those new shows that just keep coming out. Like you can watch one episode and have so much material to go off of, to make fun of, or to do a spoof of. that this could go on for fucking seasons.
Yeah,
and that's how we want to film it. Is I want to film like 10 episodes of it before I even start releasing it.
Yeah.
And do it for seasons.
That'd be awesome.
Yep.
Really, really excited for that.
Well, I don't know what we're probably at enough time here.
We're about an hour and 15 minutes. I did have one question for you though, Caleb. Yeah. I was curious. Did you ever like have like your golden goose of someone to work with that you've gotten to do that with, and how was that?
Dude, you know, there's been like I never have been like too like I've never tried to get to that point where I'm like, oh man, like I need to work with that person. Like I got to make content with them. There's a lot of people that I'm like, it'd be fun as hell to work with them.
Yeah.
You know, doing stuff with Travis Pastrana has been crazy. We like Bam Margera just lived with us for like a month.
Yeah.
That was ridiculous. It was so funny, man. Cause I was like in the gym and he would come in there and he'd be doing like his stretches and shit with his girlfriend, like limber up so that, cause he's getting back into skating real good. And he's working on all of his muscles and stuff. And like just him, the banter of him and his girlfriend and him talking to us while we're working out was so hilarious. Like, it's just, he is just that character. Like, it's just him. And like watching him on his shows and like Jack and stuff, like that's just him all the time. And he's so funny and so ridiculous. And like, that was ridiculous. Fuck, man. I get to meet so many celebrities now, and it's crazy. And it just sounds like I'm bragging, man. Like I'll every now and then I'll just say like, oh shit, this person followed me. Oh, this person followed me. Like I was talking, like I was doing a meeting on the way here, like for Undertaker, like doing stuff with him regularly and helping him get deals for his podcast. Like that's like I'm helping him get deals for his podcast. Like that's like insane to me. And so it's like weird, like all these big time singers that are like fans of mine that like they'll reach out like, dude, like Scott Stapp from Creed follows me and like will like comment on my shit. I'm just like, dude, I'm like, that's insane. I was like, that was the first CD I ever bought was Weathered by Creed.
Yeah.
So like just him watching my shit regularly. I'm just like, what the fuck? Like it's just shit like Dr. Phil follows me on like it's just like it's some of the most random people, and it's from every genre ever. Right. Like I don't have one particular world I'm in. It's like what I've been like blessed to be able to do just because I do so much just comedy. Yeah. So that appeals to everybody. So it like the people that I like see and get to talk to and interact with all the time is so insane. Like I never would have thought in like the world I would be like talking to. Mm-hmm. But like one that was really, really cool for me was Harley from Epic Mealtime. Because we loved Epic Mealtime growing up, man. We were always huge fans of that. And then he like came down and we were so pumped to get to meet him and hang out with him. And we filmed an episode of Epic Mealtime with him. And like, that was just like so surreal. And he is such a fun and like cool dude. Like he's like been one of my all-time favorites that I've met doing this. Yeah. And like we'll chit chat regularly and talk about like when he's coming back down to hang out and just hanging out. Like us not even filming stuff. He's like one of the funniest fucking people. And just cause like, he's like Canadian, he's got like that accent and like that personality, like that, like, you know, just and the politeness and stuff, but he is still that character from his videos. It is all so funny, dude. But like, he's one of my all-time favorites that we've met. He's so fun to work with. Super nice dude. But yeah, man, it's like, I almost can't pick one cause I've met so many that I've watched for years growing up, like watching Travis in Nitro Circus, Bam and Viva La Bam, and all the guys, like, you know, met Steve-O and all those guys were in Jackass. Like our first videos that we ever made were kind of a child's version of Jackass. Right. Like we were doing stuff that was like kind of dangerous, but it was like something a child would do. Yeah. That was our first videos we ever did. And it was because of Jackass. Right. So it was like,
they definitely sparked a lot of people.
Dude, yeah.
Oh, it was a revolution.
Yeah, man. They like when they came out and then all those shows following that, like Viva La Bam, Nitro Circus, Wild Boys, all that stuff like that, like changed a lot of the shows and stuff that were going on VH1 and MTV and stuff like that. But dude, I don't think I could pick just one, man. It's been so crazy. All the people that I meet like all the time. And I'm just like, oh, it almost like, and not to sound ungrateful, but it almost like doesn't faze me anymore. Cause I'm like, oh, there's fucking.
It's become normal.
Yeah. It's like, I'm like, it's crazy. And like, there's times that I'll step back from that and be like, that's not
holy
normal.
Shit. I just met so-and-so.
That's not normal. Like I'm trying to, cause there for a while, man, like meeting all these people, like I didn't have nothing to talk to or talk about with them. Like they've done everything. Right. And, but now like I've loosened up a little bit so I can chit chat and goof around. I think I met, It's not what's Donald's other son. It's not Don Jr.
Baron.
It's the one who makes all the guns. The other one. There's
the
one he's always at SHOT Show and stuff.
That's Junior.
Is it Junior?
Yeah, Don Jr.
I thought he had two older sons.
He has Eric Trump also.
Eric, because he builds guns and stuff from the ground up.
I think that's Don.
No, is it
I
Don?
think Don.
Okay.
Because Don Jr. is part of what's that company?
Field Ethos.
Field Ethos.
Oh,
that's
yeah,
a magazine.
It is.
Yeah.
It's one. I knew it was one of them we met at. It was the first time I ever talked to him, and I was at an event at SHOT Show like 2 years ago, and we are just chit chatting and talking about stuff. And literally, the first story I ever had with him was me talking about all the gay dudes that were like during that time. I had like gay dudes in my DMs on Twitter all the time, and I was like giving him like a story about that of like just. Because one of the other guys was like, we were just talking about it. And he's like, tell him about that. And I was like, dude, it's just like dudes sending me full butthole pictures. that's their opener is they're bent over pulling their ass apart. And it's like, it's not a, hey, handsome, it's here's my asshole. So we were just like, that was the first thing I said to him. So I was like, man, it's so ridiculous. So that was the first conversation I had with him. So I'm kind of hoping that he doesn't remember that. But I feel like if I meet him again, he like won't be like, oh.
Well, that's I don't know who the guy that introduced it was. And said, hey, tell him about the butthole picture.
It was
fuck that guy.
He's hilarious. His name is Jack. He helps me get all kinds of deals. But he's been in the gun industry for like years and years. He's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
But dude, it was just such a funny, surreal thing. I was like, man, I can't believe that was the conversation I had. So yeah, man, it's wild. Like I was at Power Slap here about a month ago, dude. We got invited to that with
that's hard for me to watch,
dude.
Yeah,
and it was just as gnarly live.
I bet
it was crazy. And dude, it was funny because like the room that we were in was so sleek, and it was like white carpeted. It wasn't huge. It was like maybe like one side of it was maybe 100 seats. And then it had like a big chandelier hanging in the middle. Like it was not like
it's like a ballroom.
Yeah, it was a ballroom. And then the other side was a VIP section. We got invited to the VIP section, and we met Theo Vaughn there. And then Sam Sulek was there. Met him and talked to him for a while. And like I've become friends with if you know the singer Hardy. Yeah. Like I've been becoming friends with him over the like years just through social media, and like hung out with him for a while. And then my good buddy, I love Dale Brisby, man. He was there to hang out with him, and he's one that's always been like so cool and supportive. And we our stuff kind of took off around the same time on Facebook, so we've always been kind of like broing out. But hung out with him for a while there, and it's crazy. Like, and now with We the People, it's me and Hannah and Cowboy Cerrone are like that's our three main creators.
Yeah.
So going out and filming with Cowboy is like just that's weird too.
Right,
yeah.
Man, like this was the dude.
Yeah.
For fucking years in UFC, like during like prime UFC, like when I was like really following it and watching it a lot. So I'm just like, man, like this is so weird. I'm like out here in the desert and we're doing donuts in a Tesla truck with Cowboy. Like,
right.
Like that's what we're doing for work now. Like it's nuts, man. It's so cool. But yeah, like it'd be hard for me to just pick one because it's all so ridiculous.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Crazy time.
So you work out a lot.
Yeah, try to. Yeah.
Have you ever because I've seen some of the stuff that you do. A lot of this, I wouldn't say a lot, but some of the stuff you do is more along the lines of like a strongman style than anything else. Yeah. Have you ever thought about doing any strongman competitions or anything like that?
I've considered it. I'm not like super interested in like most of the strongman competitions, but I am really interested in the Husafel, that stone, and that's kind of like what I'm like, just like slowly working on.
Yeah.
I don't have like any hard date for it or anything, but like I want to go to Iceland and do that actual Husafel stone. Like I want to go to Iceland in general. It's like my number one travel destination of all time. Like I want to go there and see it, spend a couple of weeks there and just see it all. But I really want to lift that stone and I want to walk a full circle with it.
Yeah.
Just because it's like, if you do that, you're considered, it's called a full stroker, which means like fully strong or Viking strong.
Yeah.
And I was just like, that would just be cool as shit. But that rock weighs 420 pounds. And it's like
now, how long do you have to carry? What's the distance?
It's one full circle of it. Was an old sheep's pen is what it was. And that rock was a part of the wall.
Okay.
And it's like 60 feet.
Yeah.
Which isn't like crazy. Yeah. Look at this shit.
It's not that it's crazy, but that's 400 plus pounds.
400.
It's not a bar.
No,
it's a rock.
It's a rock. And it's crazy as shit. But if I were to be able to do 2 full rotations of it, I would hold the world record.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, because Hofbor Bjornsson holds the world record right now for like 98 feet, something like that.
Yeah.
Or 98 yards. It's 60 yards total.
Okay.
Sorry.
So you're essentially carrying that rock around that rock pile.
Yeah. So your goal is essentially to carry it a football field.
Yeah, exactly. If I could carry it to a football field, I would. It wouldn't be official.
Yeah.
But it would just be. I mean, like
it'd be bragging rights.
If I wanted to get serious, we'd be like, hey, I want somebody to come out and officiate this.
Yeah.
Because one of the companies I work with, Cerberus Strength, they make a replica of that stone. Because I've got a lot of their sandbags from them. And that already is hard as shit because those are awkward shaped.
Yeah.
The rock is at least, you can't really tell from that picture, but it's
a little triangular.
It's almost shaped triangular.
Mm-hmm.
So once you get your arms under it, you can kind of rest it on your arms to a degree.
But it's still
it's still fucking hard. The hardest part is breathing with that on your chest.
Yeah.
Because if you lean too far back, it's like
it prevents your diaphragm from moving.
You can't hardly breathe.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to get strong enough to where you can stand up straight enough to carry that and be able to breathe. So that's the hardest part. But yeah, you can see there it's a little triangular. But yeah, man, if I can once I get that replica of the sandbag in, I can really start to grind it out, and that'll be when I really start focusing on it more. And I usually I'll do a few strongman-esque lifts a week. Like there'll be 2 days a week. There's like one day on a back day I'll throw in some strongman stuff, and then I try to on like Saturdays that'll be mostly strongman stuff.
Okay, and
so slowly working on that as I like. You know, I've been doing like tests, and now I work with another company called Transcend, and they've sent me like all my like my peptides and stuff to like fix any muscle tears and things I had going on, and to kind of like just get me back into the best shape I could be in for lifting really heavy. So you know, and once I'm on all that stuff for a little while and everything is cleared up, and it just helps me get stronger. And I get that sandbag and I can really focus on it. But I would love to do that within the next couple of years.
That'd be cool.
Over there and do that and possibly break that record, which would be nuts.
Right.
But honestly, he don't even try to break it anymore because nobody can come close.
Yeah.
And dude, if I were to break it, because he lives there.
Yeah, he'd be pissed.
Dude, he and that's what would be so funny is if I went over and then broke it. And then was like, hey, it's like, because I wanted to make joke. I wanted to be like, if I'm able to break, I want to be like, hey, so like, what? Am I the king of Iceland now, or do I own his gym now, or like, what's the deal here? So, but he is strong enough, dude, to where like, if I were to break it, he'd probably go break it right after.
He would just go do like 4 laps.
He would
be like, fuck you.
like now, try to okay,
just
because dude, he's like a foot taller than me. He weighs like 450 pounds. Like,
so when we first moved to Texas, we just slipped and shit and fell into gold. Essentially, we got invited to a cigar night and happened to decide, you know what? Like we had trailers hooked to the trucks from driving from Nebraska.
So literally the day
I had my dog with me, and they're like, "Yeah, come to the bar." And so like we're texting back and forth, and we were just like, "Yeah, you know what? A whiskey doesn't sound that bad. Like, we'll stop in for one, have a quick cigar, and then go from there." In the process of doing that, we met a good buddy of ours, and his name's Jim. Jim is very good friends with Rob Oberst.
Oh yeah.
And so, in theory, we became very good friends with Rob Oberst, and he does a lot of the strongman. Or he used to. He's had a lot of injuries lately in life.
He's still so strong,
and he's a monster.
Yeah, he's still so strong.
He's huge.
And so, like meeting him in person and understanding what he does, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, I'm 6'1", 250.
Yeah.
I'm not a small person.
No.
I'm one of the smallest people out of that friends group.
Yeah.
Everybody else is like 6'7" or above,
Really
300,
easy.
400 pounds, and I'm just like, fuck you guys.
Oh yeah, man. That's how like when I went to the Arnold's last year, I mean, I was like, dude, I was like, I have never felt smaller.
Yeah.
Like, cause I forget the other guy's name, but he's really popular too. He's super strong. He holds a lot of the records as well. But I did it was like a meet with Thor, and it was both of them at the same time. And I'm in the middle of them.
And you're like a midget.
Dude, I look like a child, like a little boy. They're like kind of leaning over to like be able to like, you know, give me a hug, and it just.
And you're not a small person.
No, and it just looks so silly, man, because they're like his calf is like as big as my quad. Like it's insane. Like these are giants.
Yeah.
Like they are built to do this shit.
Yeah,
it's so crazy, man. But yes, super cool.
Yeah. Like I almost feel it'd be easier if somebody was short doing it, just because they have to move the weight.
And
less.
that's like my reasoning. I'm like maybe if I can dude, I'm like, shorter. I was like, it's going to be a little easier because he's got all that weight way up high.
Yeah.
Like it might be
like your deadlift is this big. His deadlift is that big.
Way big. I was like, maybe I'll figure something out and it can work to my advantage.
It's just leverage too, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I've got a lot shorter of a distance that I got to get that up to my chest.
Yeah.
So we're gonna work on that and see if I can't make that happen in the next few years.
That'd be cool as shit doing that stone thing.
Yeah, if I can just do one circle, that'd be amazing.
Yeah,
that would be like
even just to go there and like you pick it up. Like if I could pick it up and set it back down and be like, you know what, that's a win in my book. That's 400 pounds.
Because I might get there and it might be rainy as fuck, and I might not even be able to lift the thing.
Right.
So it's like, it's kind of a guess. Like,
that's a nice goal, though.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's
so when did you come up with this?
It's been about a year now that first.
How did you hear about it though?
I knew about it because I've been seeing that movement in strongman for years, and
they have like this metal thing that looks kind of like
I've got a metal one. It sucks so much to use
because it's metal.
It's metal. It cuts the shit out of me every time I use it. It bruises the hell out of me. It sucks to use, but they've been using that in strongman events for years, and there for a while, I think they just did it there, like in Iceland. They're like 10, 15 years
Did they
ago.
bring the rock?
Yeah, well, no, yeah, but they did it in Iceland a couple of times, and I'm pretty sure they just did it there. That was the first time I ever saw it. I was like, oh, that's awesome. Yeah. And then I learned a little bit of the history about it. I'm like, oh, that's so cool. And apparently, the owner of that land, like his daughter could lift it. Yeah. Like she was some big Viking girl. Yeah, but it was a part of the wall for the sheep's pen, and whenever they were like moving it or something like that, it just became a test to see if you could pick that rock up.
It's really cool to pick that as a goal because it's not like it's not one discipline you're working towards to get it. It's not like, oh, I need to be able to lift this and carry it.
Yeah.
Like, okay, cool. Like that's one thing that's going to take a long time for you to do.
Yeah.
But then you need to get there.
Yep.
You need to organize it.
Yep.
There's all kinds of other things that have to happen in order for you to be able to complete this goal.
It'd be very
I
disrespectful.
need to be strong.
But I think it'd be funny is if you did a lap and you're like, this is mine now, and just started walking off with it.
Just put it in the back of your truck.
Yeah, that's literally we talked about too. Like if I were able to do and break the record, like I guess this is my rock now. That was another thing. I guess can I just ship this to my house?
This is my land now.
Yeah, this is mine. Yeah. So we wanted to, like, obviously I would talk so much shit if I did it and crushed it. I'd be like, dude, I'd be saying all the lines. I'd be like, so I own Iceland now, right? Like
you just pull out a notebook. Yeah. You're like, okay, I'm just going to start on page 1.
Yeah.
It's going to take me a minute, but I have a lot of lines for this.
These are my demands.
Yeah. I'm the king now, so I want a house built right up here.
Right.
Yeah. So it could be it's something super fun to work towards.
Yeah.
And I definitely want to try it within the next couple of years.
Right.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, hey man, I appreciate you coming on.
Of course.
I think this is probably one of the best ones we've done.
Awesome.
It's a good one.
Hell
it's funny.
I really appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely covered a lot.
Yeah.
So, Justin's going to link it all too, but where can everybody find you?
It's pretty much just my name on pretty much everything. Caleb W. Francis will find me. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. If you're interested in streaming at all, I stream a lot of cool video games, and that'll be Twitch will be mostly where I'm doing that at, and that is my gamer name, which is my branding. That's Grizzly Puncher.
Okay.
That's all of my branding and stuff. That's that name there. So Twitch is Grizzly Puncher. Everything else is Caleb W. Francis.
Awesome.
Yep. Heck yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Well, that's it for this one. Justin, you got anything you want to add in on this?
Nope. Think we're good. Great show, fellas.
Sweet. Heck
awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Cheers, guys.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
What'd you think of that triple?
Oh, dude, it's delicious.
So good.
So easy to drink.
So good.
I was kind of not expecting that.
Mm-hmm. But on that note, guys, jump on over to warfightertobacco.com for all your cigar needs. Check out Caleb and all the cool stuff that he has going on all his channels. Follow him on YouTube and all that fun stuff. Whether you watch it or not, it actually really helps. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it.
And all the links are in the description on the bottom. Sky, you got anything?
No, I was just going to say, you're not going to follow him and then not watch it because it's funny.
Yeah.
You're going to end up watching
it.
Yeah. You're welcome, by the way. Till next week.
Yep.
Awesome.
All right. Later.